hunwi ebia sakatu so batan da mu ne ma sade tie bia de di kare di tie ene yesa for falas na koja abo asonso man ya yatra se bakenkan nyina somo yi kase na information census ahodo so Facebook no so Sikka FM 895 live, YouTube Sikka FM 895 official, TikTok ana IC at Sikka FM anyimere sama ye desom de makotre bi eni na shebe dwamodom kuma no e ka kira ban se ne mu ya ama ne honya ha na 10 billion Ghana cedis sesa wotua na aye license buying companies no omdo to koko amakuafo ho to no aban fasika na emo
empomde aso ye ene omamu mpanifo aka bom se ne be ya obenya baabi papa ama empomde adwuma yefo a wo nkurase no wode wa ko nkurase obenya baabi atena yie osofo wo hwa dansie ni nnwuma ho nsam so ede atu dwase na no woni enso kotwifa wo mo so wo ye north ton ni south ton patam ho baabi na yesif dan dia mo no edan ni bi ho no ma won ma wie Owampani dada na dodanko Akufo-Addo abo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia abaso eno na ya janto abekasa etia Assembly member wono water no so north electoral area honorable Kwabena Poku edu Sikka ne di ho wono ena ekire se obasa ne man for document bi ani ahoya ha na wonso watumi anya bi tse Ghana card ne ho nkro de ba sei enti ne peso so for why birth certificate e de amom Amasa Man High Court akasa afa Evangelist Patricia Esiedu ne ensem no ehon anyimere nsem bi ka werem ho ne yesi ho konwa bekenkan nyina asommoyi asomfa wuti enkan ye me mrantie ni aba ma me efomwa kafena mene ama sewa ampafu track 1 ejina so aba Sikka FM track 1 yeni yakuro
Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai
Yes Suma Santimai Ghana ma ye wiase nyina aka ho afei ye wura esomne mo ankasa ye fra se dia ne yakom na hyebedwamo dom kuma no akachei dom kuma no na wo mo ka kire aban se sa aban hu yes wonte ya wo mo de mo ka kire aban sa kokko akuafo ho akire wo mo pa sei waye kokko na wie aba wa hata manawo kama enso so wo mo ede kokko krachefo ho a ebi mo kura adwane won pese kokko ne kro mbeto san so wo ya no wo tope wo nya sika mfa ntua kokko kuani ni kayesa kuani ni batwena betwa kokko krache na adwuma mo kwa esa na krachefo ne ho tete wo mo so omo ni sika bia wo mo de airtop enti dom kuma na ka kira ban se animani mu yo ma ne honya ha 10 billion Ghana cedis na aban no ede eye ka wo de license buying companies no enti wonye na sa 10 million Ghana cedis no wonje mu emfa ema eye kokko krachefo no na wo muntumi ntoto kokko no na akuafo no omo ho enhare wo mu sansa ho kire kase na aba wonom eso okomra hyebedwam a abadwako wo mo ka enuane na afemfudi ho nsam kokko nyina aka ho bi committee no ranking member aye honorable Isaac Yaw Opoku Yentino.
A farmer called a week ago and said he has sold 100 bags of cocoa and yet he could not buy blood pressure medicine to treat his ailment. Another farmer said his wife was seriously ill but had no money to purchase drugs prescribed by her doctor because of non-payment of his cocoa. Other farmers are struggling to send their wards to school. For the first time in the history of this country, cocoa farmers had to literally postpone the celebration of Christmas, all because they had not been paid for their produce. We call on government and cocoa board to pay our cocoa farmers immediately for all cocoa beans sold and to be sold to save the cocoa industry from slipping back to days of despondency and loss of interest. We demand an apology from government and cocoa board for this gross dereliction of duty.
Wasi ansa kura aban be Jessica num kura akoko board ni aban na kura mama pa kura focho so mama akuafo ho akire wo mo enu achi honorable sanso to aso se won die wo giri se wantwi ya ekoso wo koko board siwo na fe managing director any mpanifo a wo koko board wantwi na ekoso wo muntam no enu ka ho binti na de ahokire yi abra akuafo no.
A farmer called a week ago and said he has sold 100 bags of cocoa and yet he could not buy blood pressure medicine to treat his ailment. Another farmer said his wife was seriously ill but had no money to purchase drugs prescribed by her doctor because of non-payment of his cocoa. Other farmers are struggling to send their wards to school. For the first time in the history of this country, cocoa farmers had to literally postpone the celebration of Christmas, all because they had not been paid for their produce. We call on government and cocoa board to pay our cocoa farmers immediately for all cocoa beans sold and to be sold to save the cocoa industry from slipping back to days of despondency and loss of interest. We demand an apology from government. After coming into office, the NDC reversed the policy, and only about 30% of the projected crop was sold forward this 2025-2026 crop year. They were daydreaming and thinking that prices will remain high, and were selling at spot until prices started tumbling. Another main cause is the internal struggle within Cocoa Board. There is a serious leadership conflict between the chief executive of Cocoa Board and the managing director of Cocoa Marketing Company. This conflict has disrupted work of sales and pricing committee, what is known in Cocoa Board as Sales Executive Committee. And because of this internal fighting, critical decisions were either delayed or poorly executed.
Eri ati ye wo komra she bedwafia abedwaku a wo moka awurka chanuane na afe koko ho nsem ranking member no honorable Isaac Yaw Opoku
ya to aka se ne so ane ye ko mpomuden asoye adokotafo ni mpomuden adwuma yefo a ye de won konkrase se won koye adwuma emfamoa oman no no mfansom omanfo no won odo won ha atudwa ye o wo se ba bia wo beda ayede ama won enkanea ensuo ansupa obenya empono electricity ene a network or de be yakọ esan say how bi bana say how no yakese e wo nkurase na se wo bo akire ne de bokuro kwasie mu ti kansa na yarefo ni nuru no na de wo se wo mu ye bia na mo yese moja na no mo pa e de asi wo munya network impo na mo de ayesa course no ti nipa ne ba beduru kuro kwasie mu no na nipa kuro no na nyame amfafia na wato na nanom won se do ba bia wo bedampo no wo sori a wotinya koye adwuma mpo no kwa aye how kese no ana adokotafo ene impomdi adwumayefo ye do mako nkurase yi wo mode to empanifo anim eno na enam so ama public relation officer a oda asoye no ano no onimonyamfo Tony Goodman edi to just say omo ba hye sa asoye no impomdi asoye ne ba hye se ne be ya sa akade we no munyina no adokotafo ne impomdi adwumayefo ye do mako nkurase no wo mu benya na wo munya asum fine no mo de asom oman no yengotie owura Tony Goodman nensem no de to dwa no
what we are doing is to engage the development agents in these various districts and regions. The minister went to Savannah and has been to Uti. He's visiting most of these regions. And in these regions, what he's doing is to meet MCs, MPs, regional ministers, chiefs, so that together they can find a lasting solution to this. The issues raised by the medical officers is that when they go, they don't get decent accommodation, they don't have transportation and other logistical needs they mentioned. The minister is meeting with them to get them to at least put in place some moderate but decent accommodation for them in their various districts, so that when they are posted, these officers can go. He is also asked them to provide some transportation means for them, and other logistics that they have also requested for. because they said the ministry will continue to post. If they refuse, we have decided that we are not going to change their postings, but the regions must do something in order to make sure that these people accept posting.
Oro good man we wa mananso wa owie no sa share empomde adwuma efo no yede wa konkrase say ehwa na edo beto ye de wato na ehwa na edo beto na emu no nka makomanto wo yam promotion de ombekọ ne 10 afi so mbese nya scholarship e de akwa akosua de nto mo nka makoma ento wo yam eno so yenkoti.
The other thing we are doing as a ministry is also to provide incentives to them when they get these postings and accept them. When you go to these areas, what happens is that your promotion years decreases. You have a chance of going to postgraduate to do postgraduate program earlier than anybody who is in the city. You also have the chance to have other scholarship programs abroad and other places. So we have put in place all of these, but it's up to also the development agents in these areas to also assist us to do what we are doing.
And you got a public relation officer or dime Pomodina Sway no anno or Tony Goodman.
Yantoa Kasebono Asway na Swaya share a densie na fei. And you mahon some aswa at the barber to just Basin Fishem, Yenunika Cranny, Mafoya. You could be a cotton bodam, a good woman saw. Now, one watching a woman of your fenina and so you the fire. And one called them, yes, in Suku damn near the idea by no casa. Will sit dying at the Ama Wonum. Ama Fimpino and yet you know, and as I dine sieno. A free as is so fearful for at the Amomona. As you had the barber to just adwuma na gusua ekoswa amani manimu yempo efiendo matimi awie eye amienu ane aduonu ba ko 251 ana wo motumi awie a kyese ye ba bebie amamafo akwakotenem no kyese oyankrata semu dia afiefie ya enso no ayiri fa wo mo esesa abane sine foforo ade mamafo nya ba bidu omutitu no eye mpimienu 2225 ana phase 1 wa Friday kind no apem ani do 1010 ana phase 1 nkwa ehyemu a wo mo babe ansa no makọ eye ofa tosomiero eye phase 2 no nso adan ahodo anase efie yes so wo mu si edema manfo no eye apem ahamienu ani dunum 1215 enti phase 1 na eye 1010 no ana se wo mo aye ho adwuma 1010 ni mu no emu 251 ana aye krado ni manimu ya mafo ebetimi akwakotenemu na saa mane we nyina da osofo won na hwe adanse ni nyuma ho nsam esom na wode tudwa honorable Kenneth Gilbert J wode tudwa wa bra mamperebre che Professor J na opoko agibai ebo anakwa asoye honom kosra wo mo ahwe adwuma so mo ye ene ohawa asoye no ewo honorable Kenneth Gilbert J entino.
The National Rental Assistance Scheme was brought in to ensure that to help with this high cost of rental housing. And so far, we've supported 2,031 2,225 homes were validated to be worked on. The project actually started in 2024, but in 2025, when we took office, that's when we started actually hitting the ground running with the housing itself. And we put it into phases. Phase 1, we are supposed to do 1,010 homes. And this is for the 3 highly affected districts, that is the 3 Ton, South, Central, and North Ton. It's currently ongoing. Some contractors are still moving to site to ensure that we are able to finish the first phase of the 1,010 before we move to the second phase of the project. The second phase will be 1,215 housing units. But the budget this year gave us 326 million for it. And we are still negotiating to get more so that we can complete it for the good people that were affected by the spillage.
Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J. Asanto Asusa, Enipa Besa Mpimienu 2000, and Omodia Omofieno nye Cradwintino, a National Rental Assistance Scheme no, Wamo Enya eso emphaso, Yentia no so said your kanye.
The National Rental Assistance Scheme was brought in to ensure that to help with this high cost of rental housing. And so far, we've supported 2,031 new beneficiaries in 2025, bringing the cumulative beneficiary to 4,732 since inception. And we've achieved 99% repayment rate, proving high scheme sustainability from an initial seed capital of 27 million cedis. The fund has grown to approximately 71.7 million. So going forward, we are looking at recapitalizing the scheme, having engagement with some financial institutions to partner with us and see how we can open it up and spread it to other regions that are currently not enjoying it.
And I see a swap for share dancing in Newman Samso, Honorable Kenneth Gilbert A.J.
Metwaka se so ana meko MPP amanyoko no emu. Na no memene da ya na MPP amanyoko no ekogina akono eto aba eyi. Obi a obetu franka ede ama amanyoko no wadi woni makopre akonya kase no 2028. No na nam so ma eru anum enum ekogina ya. Ye wie ya no afo ototo aba na kenkan wie ya no na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ono na waso afranka no ne nkunimdie no aye ne dia eno na eno awukwada Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na yere Hajia Samira Bawumia ekosra omampani dada na nado dankwa ekufuado woni fie ho na nado ebo Dr. Bawumia abaso so waya ade pa waya ade nkunimdie no so efata no isan se wakonkoden woni na ya adwuma enfie pare du wo 18 years enti Dr. Bawumia de wonim na dwene wonim ni su ene ne ban wonim do a owo edema Ghana ena wonim adwuma den a obeye ene de waye a ode boa Ghana ene amanyoko no se ne be ya 2028 no obeje abanya no afi NDC 4 ensem no na enam so ama nei presidential staffer edema omampani a wote adwa so na ya ajantoa abekasa etia se na do dankwa ho adai se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia so wodo edema oman Ghana enka wantena wanhwe ame amfa domestic debt exchange program no ama yenko tie na ya ajantoa ne nsem no kan ye no ebi
Sadwe no kwa na ye me haw no woni na ye adwuma atiche se wo de wo po na wo so Ghana fo ye Ghana fo de ye hu Ghana fo anke ye kwa hohiahia mu DDP ankrofo esi ahwiri sika ebinum krantimi ntua medical bills nkrofo coupons ye ntua ade na okan o ti ase o ma fibula yi bi say I don't like it we jato o do bi na say wo fight for the person na wo fight to the last point for do kra wo we die wuti wa no bibia the fight ye ko didi pimu me ho kire yen ye sika so tie banking sector clean up go for lose jobs ntu do bi asa na bente na na do de bi ono ne ba umi 18 years di o hunu no ye de ye hu
asese a MPP fo akoyi ba omi NDC fo aso be hye wana
e wode e ho ade asem na aka obi ono ne party mi ko we lose 44% de asem na aka ni predecessors ni no bi appreciate ye o wan so hye wa yin asem na ye de obi esi wo ba wo ene bia okọ na eba
NDC obi ombe yi ni bia
ade bi na ba wo mi ade asem na aka me I thought I was expecting some 70% the way I know mo ye no 44% of your own people didn't vote for you.
It's a 3-horse race.
And I'm saying says obi ka say 3-horse race omo be mu because omo feel say ba omi nya more especially Brian. So fool says so oji akonya no if he say ba omi nya even though omo lose 2020 but ba omi asan ba ono ani pass in patrol calculation we lose 44% empe no. Is it okay? Only predecessors so bia start to appreciate you. Na mado started 40 something or the code 70 something with by 98. Ko for bia within anim bia no first time na ending, second time no na ekosro, third time na ekosro ono nko a dwindle. Into see no to time kro nya 60 something cry in their share no. Na ene. Ibu say
ani egoti presidential staff anana ya jantoa ona watu tubi ede amane omampani dada nana do dankwa ekufuado afa ne nsem okafa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia eho no
yanto akase bone so na yengura ensam foforo yare kase no akọ eyeta no so nov one assembly member enchen tanofo nov assembly member e kwara so mensino emu honorable Edusi Poku Kwabena wona waye best certificate ya ma ne manfo a wona mpeso so nyina wo chese nya no nko awei de edi kan ponie Ghana card wo a woni bibia e krado wo baba e bi de ma sa so na mo amuni apom din shechi ba me che health insurance yi ni nyina obaba ye bi e de ama wonum se de be ya wo bi wo hododo wa afa health insurance ape na wokọ Ghana card na ohia de udwuma bia no wanya bi na ansa na abaya Ghana card no agise wunya birth set ansa na watumi ayesa enkratasem no aka nyina wo chese se da baya ne mpaso so wono mo wuhia enkratasem bia enkoya den tawe emfa mounti no yesa ne ma wenyina de ama wonum na wajesa woni National Identification Authority for ne kabo mu a ama chese ade ayefo ade ama ne manfoi na honorable Edusi Poku Kwabena kire mu adekode potia ka no ma wo yesa ani soyi ede ma ne manfo a woni peso so entine
assembly member from Edusi Poku Kwabena ni pa wo pana so mo fo anu se ma ho se mostly no ya na birth certificate no ho ayeden onya daji akokora no na aye din ama no ti me ne penfo akasa from birth certificate office omo ba ebe registration no e di ama ye ti we hu ye birth certificate registration ana me ne penfo akasa no ma ba on ba be boa ne aye di ama me manfo e se ye share Ghana system na e ko digital no ti si e ko se wo ye Ghana card ko na so kwa birth set so birth set kwa wa Ghana card be di ama na birth set information e fa wo ni pa wo ho nti ko du baabi na ye ko busaw na wo ntimi nkan e kwa wa o so so obi timaka nti birth set de e se me fa wa no ho a se me ko baabi e kwa ne de na odi tu kwanya ko baabi ana onante ko baabi ne kan ho a gidi se ebe boa no ko nyesa nyina mu nti wadaloma me fa ade we nkwati nkofo abra asem member metimi ade mpanifo aba no abe ya ma wo mo gidi se ede anamopa ana ede kan ko be bre nkofo abra obi aso nya ne MC adwuma no aye process ana aye stages betimi de mpanifo abai beto so akoso a health insurance ye de beba health insurance last year ye na me kura over 400 and something data itini register wo last year me na Ghana card so iguana mo so ameni penfo kasa se betimi dia ba de kuro mu aso so se no ya na enyomu ya din kakra obi ko ba bi no na ye din itimi de ben pona no dia se wa anye bi dia na nko blemu abai na nko blemu assembly member me dia ba kuro mu se bra na be ye ti se wanti mama me ya me nyini se betimi ko blemu na otifie nti wadaloma enyomu gusu a ye ye nkakra nya me aduma edubia beba na de ni bibia obi aso nsa akadi wadaloma the first ka bia wo form na etoda se ne nyankopon o si ye nipa no ne kwan so a wo ye no the company fo ni kokasa omutie ne kwasem we aye se wo ko officer se ne nse she wo hotie tama e be die nyina no perifo no makasa ni o ma ba form especially Sikka Kase ne fi fan tuja all right de ne mom e wo form a ne manfo omutie hu se ne kwasem so ko office o faka ko aba odu wo so obetia bibi
Honorable Edusi Poku Kwabena eno achi ne manfo ya womo enya somfaso ni bi nso womo edase inti omoe
Honorable Yoba Epen Abiawa yem website no ayem dadwe kese pa me na no pay me sorry ya honorable ya we me bapani wa ya mayem me ya menka ya me kan se nyakopon onhira no onye ne kese pa ontani fa de me kwa dum asante ya nhira na kasa ni website ya enize ebre pa enso you know free ya free ya bana celebrate na ko pensron ya let me aka o ha e kama pa e bona modern adisa wan for asama nko e de wasem e komana e ndabwo mu ko o se o chai na odi wachi ona bo onum ohun eni stemu oni se wo chese e de wachi ne bibi ya bona modern
never come so na boye da nasu o san se mini ebi ko ye bi o se le baba ko bi a 300 cedi sa time Take a some medium with the money for a cranker, a bed brew 500 cities. Come a 3, a Yankee begging, there's a Yampaso. Into the council at this runner. Now, numerous answer, the summer not in us. No question answer, no matter, and my year. Oh, what a bomb did you say? Me and Cassandra come to say, that's all far. The better on the brass, and the name is on a bolino. And I'm trying to moja the me be as me Bama baby, Ben so my yamma. And the idea of a boy, honorable so number, Sapa, which is so boy, the dear Basudiano, or bombardness of her say, look for to be than a city.
We a ton of son of electoral area for and a one more elbow or my assembly member Basso Honorable Edusi Poku Kwabena Sawabe birth certificate Edia Mom.
Erika Seno call Amasamai High Court. Yena enim sem say afie twemu July that also miensa nom ana Evangelist Patricia Esiedu a yebone mranesa na nagrada court no ebua no for ema say ye share say won koda afiase emfie pare dunum 15 years na wonya adwumaden fansom oman no eno na Amasamai High Court ekwa asetena na no wode atudwa say nyame adom Nemfie dodo na yede ma nemfie dunum eso ate ama enei aba abosomi dumienu enti mfie dunum no sese ne de wo hya ase na wasom oman no abosomi dumienu ewo afiase eno na nam so ama enei ne lawyer a oye lawyer Richard Asare-Bafo edito nsentwefo enim yengotie lawyer Richard Asare-Bafo
the sentence has been reduced to 12 calendar months. This should be good news for your side, isn't it?
Exactly so. It is not something that we prayed for. Our prayer was for the conviction to be set aside. But in the wisdom of the courts, he has upheld the conviction and rather reduced the sentencing from 15 years to 1 year. I think it's a good news. And already he spent about 7 months in imprisonment, so I'm sure it should be out very soon.
Certainly. So a lot of who has followed this, the conviction was on 3rd July, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct.
If I'm not wrong. And so that means that some 5 months more to go for her, I believe.
There's a calculation to that, so let's keep our calm. Definitely she'll come out.
Now, we know that at the court below, she was fined 25 penalty unit for the charlatanic advertisement. Has that been paid already?
No, that one, it was 25 penalty units in default of 1 month imprisonment. She has already served that jail.
Now we know that the judge also gave her 200 penalty units for the charges defrauding by false pretense. What is your reaction to that?
That one will be paid immediately before we leave court.
We also told that she's supposed to the monies that were proved to have been collected, 500 cedis each of 2 complainants, making 1,000 cedis by February 24. What have you heard from her?
That is where the wisdom of the judge comes in. A person is found guilty of having defrauded another person of the sum of 1,000 Ghana cedis and impose an prison term of 15 years. It's clearly ridiculous. So that has been set aside, and the 1,000 cedis is not something that cannot be paid. Indeed, it will be paid today before we leave here.
For a lot of people who have followed this, who have been loyal persons who believe in the evangelist Patricia Esiedu, what will the legal team say to them for the support all this while?
It has been a very stressful past few months, but we are in us believing in our case and staying true to us. From day one, we have maintained that the 15-year jail term was too excessive, and today the court has spoken. And that is it. The law is what it is.
What will you say to someone who says that even after everything, though it has been reduced, even if she finished serving, she will remain an ex-convict? How would that have on her own calling as a minister of the Lord?
There are so many. If you read the Bible, there are several of them that went into jail. But eventually, that doesn't change the calling on them. So he's not the first person to be jailed. We have so many prominent figures in Ghana and even outside Ghana who were once at a point in their lives were jailed.
And you go to lawyer Richard Asare-Bafo, Evangelist Patricia Esiedu Nanagrada, ni lawyer. Ensemunibino.
Yo, Kasabana Sinemum 6 match, ye court health work.
Ya nante, Hooray, hooray! Sikka FM, yadi enfie edun 20 years. And until the Jumadia change be so. Jumadia no when the cow at us ensia. Now feed the idea a yasurunko cracha fibia edie. And no any fitness work, not I say. Yen nante kumase mountain so near tene yapum. Into your fan club, I would draw keep it club. Association I would run sorry suku I would do a would do crying. Some of my mechanic home. Na yen come on 6 March 2026. I for fida. Na yen nantin ya pom essence apomode ho ehia ye pa. Jumadi eba koso anopano nsia awa ya bobo anu ya. Ya be nantin afa kumase mountain so awodo bebere. Na ye wie ya saba be wie awa ya bobo anu ya ne de aerobics act waso. Se wo pese wo beka ye ho na ye di jumadi nyina ebomu apusa ho matrufo yi 0243883210 0243883210 so obeso ya sene ana so be sponsor yen so a eni so puso on matrufo 0557337981 0557337981 beka yen ho na 6 March yen nyina ye monemu na yen nante na yen tene ya pom.
Yamfana sia ama newsroom adwumefo Kwame Foria Boje wo ho sanso na nane ebo a eka ho Joseph enso ewo ha yesemfo ya falasa no kwaji abo ya reporters akokwa sensemeni aja chicken rasta enafe wa hene ene ofatome enwere de ya technician AC wo double fashion center no DJ Bullet ya wampam bronya tade amame wonno ewa social media no Kelvin enwere kan for ye me rantie ni aba maame efum wa kafena mene
ama sewa ampafu
yada munyina se ama mo eniti sorry so DJ Bullet wa ha de akanyina odetono so yakramo